to the March workshop. Excited to have you here. So this is creating a content and social media machine. Excited to dive into this today. Let me see here. So quick overview. We're going to talk about why content is king in 2025. And it has been for quite a long time. Content is really, the big piece of gaining SEO, gaining rankings, all those kinds of things. We're going to talk a little bit about consumer behavior trends, 4 pieces of content, to the content creation formula. We're going to talk about AI. It's on everybody's mind right now. So we're going to talk about the power of AI in creating content for your business. And then we're going to talk about the social media framework. So obviously that's a big piece of everything as well. So why is content king in 2025? Well, first of all, it builds your credibility, right? That's a big piece of it. Just the fact that somebody typed something into Google, came to your website and got that question answered is huge for your credibility, right? You were the one that helped them solve whatever issue was. So that's a big piece of it. Getting that trust in business, we want people to like, know, and trust you. So this is the trust piece of that, right? Obviously, having that in place is really going to help get you, at the end of the day, more leads. So having that credibility, a big piece to the puzzle. It also builds your email list. So in this, we're talking more about building your audience bigger and bigger as time goes on. The more people discover you, the bigger your audience gets. And maybe they're in research mode when they first come to your website, or see your ad, or see your post on Facebook, whatever it happens to be. They see that content, they like it, they engage with it in some way. Maybe there's an email swap in there. You get an email address from them for your newsletter or something like that. It builds that list bigger and bigger so that when they are in purchase mode, you already have that and you're going to be top of mind to them. So that's definitely important. Now, content also attracts attention, right? As I mentioned earlier, Google loves content. And the more content that is on your site that is quality content that solves a problem for somebody that's visiting that page, that attracts Google's attention. And we know that we want to do that, right? We want to grab Google's attention so that Google can serve what you have to more potential customers. So definitely attracts attention, helps you with your rankings, moving you up in the overall organic amount of eyeballs that are on your brand. So these are some of the big updates that came out over the last year or so. User experience, obviously very important. So not just the fact that somebody, or I should say it this way, the fact that somebody came to your website and hit the back button within a short amount of time signals to Google that was a poor user experience. The page that they landed on didn't solve the problem, didn't look right, didn't feel right. It wasn't what they were looking for. They hit the back button, off they went. Google pays attention to that. So a good user experience, obviously somebody's going to come and they're going to spend some time on your website or on that page that they landed on. So they want to have a good user experience for the people that they're sending to your site. Authenticity, another big one here. So having unique content on your site, obviously important, but making that content yours, so that it is authentic and it gives them a non-AI content overview of your site. If they're reading something, they don't think a robot wrote this, right? And speaking of AI, there is definitely a place for this in the world of SEO, in the world of building content. And we'll talk a little bit more about that today, but these are the big things that have really, that Google has really focused on over the last 12 months or maybe a little bit longer. I think AI is obviously the big one here that is on everybody's mind. So when they decided to start focusing on this kind of thing, they came out with what they call EAT, or EAT, which stands for experience, expertise, author how do I say this? Authoritativeness and trustworthiness. These are the four pieces to building a piece of content that Google is going to like. So they want them to have a good user experience. We just talked about that. They want the content to be good quality or expertise, right? It needs to solve some sort of issue. Authoritativeness is all around the authority that you have online. So this reflects back to other things that you're doing that are creating signals for Google to like your website, to rank that content higher. A lot of signals that go into your authority overall. And then trustworthiness. How trustworthy is this particular piece of content or this website? Do they have a bunch of links from, some spammy websites, or do they have good quality links coming in? Is the content valuable? Do people spend time on your site? All of these kinds of things reflect back to overall trustworthiness as well. So consumer behavior trends, specifically for the window treatment and awning industry. So what we need to do here really is shift towards visual and video-based content. Now, for a long time, we've been building websites for, 28 years now, I think. And when we niche down to only working with window treatment and awning companies, one of the things that we have noticed over the years is that people love visiting galleries on websites, right? And it's part of the reason why Hunter Douglas, for instance, spends so much money on these just beautiful pictures, right? Because they're going to inspire people. They're going to have people say, gosh, I really want that for my home, right? So visual-based content been around for a while. There's also websites like Instagram, Pinterest, for example, these visual-based programs or platforms that people can see what their potential house could look like, right? The other piece of this really is video. There's a couple things that are important here. When we talk video, you immediately usually think of YouTube, right? And I got to create these long pieces of content. Not necessarily true. So we've got short things like Instagram Reels. Facebook has the little short thing. TikTok, of course, very popular for short related content. And even YouTube has YouTube Shorts now. So these little 1 minute or so videos that have some sort of a problem solution in there, they're very popular. Anytime we put out YouTube Shorts, they always get eyeballs. So definitely consider working on doing more content and more video this year. The other thing that's really cool, obviously, showcase different styles in real homes rather than just having a text article on your site. Very important, really showcasing that. Another thing that people love is before and after clips. Here's what it looked like before we started, after we were done. This is what we got. People love that stuff. So number 2, increasing preference for personalized recommendations. So start to have more personalized recommendations on your site and better content that has things like FAQs and what about this situation or what about this situation. So having that kind of quality content on your site, it's going to help you rank for more keywords in the first place. And it's going to, the people that land on those pages, they're going to feel better because you're actually answering the question that they were researching in the first place. Number 3 is all around AI enhanced customer journeys. So as somebody goes through experiencing your business, right? Maybe the first time that they come across your business is through a pay-per-click ad, right? Or an organic ranking. However they come across your business, maybe they saw the van and they shot the QR code on your van, something like that, right? There's a lot of different ways. There are ways to use AI to enhance that customer journey as they start going through the process from the top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel when they're a little bit more engaged with you. Maybe they set an appointment, those types of things. And then, of course, the bottom of the funnel when there's install time and you need to finish up the job, right? That entire customer journey can have different touch points along the way that AI can help you enhance, for lack of better words. So lots of different things that you can do on there. So I want to talk about the content creation formula. And this formula has been around for a while, but it really will give you a good idea of a structure that can help you create content on a regular basis, good content, quality content that Google loves, right? Which will lead to higher rankings and at the end of the day, more phone calls. So the content formula goes like this. On date, writer will publish a post using type about category. Now, what the heck does that mean? Well, let's talk a little bit about this, and I'm going to go in reverse order. So we're going to start with the category. Typically, categories are the main things that you want to write about. So the easy way to do this is to just find your products, right? That would be a great place to start. Different products that you order or that you offer, such as Roman shades, right? Or retractable awnings. That is a category that you could potentially write for. Now, you could also do this for services, right? If you do repairs, that is a category. A lot of our clients don't do repairs, but if you do, that could be a different service or a category that you could write about. So these are really just the high level overview of what is the category, what is the thing we're going to talk about in this particular piece of content. So some ideas for some high impact content from this angle. 3 pillars: inform, educational blogs, how-to guides, industry news, those types of things. Engage is all around interactive posts, Q&As, discussions, that kind of stuff. And then convert, so get them to do something, right? These are pieces of content around case studies, testimonials, and lead magnets, and those types of things. So once you have your categories picked, then you need to pick your content type. Now, in the world of the internet, there's really just 4 main high-level types of content that you can create. The first and the most common is text, right? So consider this like a blog or a page about your service or product page, something like that, right? It's just a lot of text typically. And that's what Google loves. At the end of the day, Google loves text because that's what it can read the most, and that's what it gets the most value out of. So even though these are the most common, there's a reason they're the most common, because that's what Google really likes to consume. So blogs are a great example of that. Another way that you could go about building content is images. So creating images that explain things. This is a great example of the ultimate guide to window treatments, and explains the different types of window treatments, or at least 6 of them, right? Which are really cool. This is a great piece of content in an image format that you could share and that people probably would share. Now, the next one we already touched on a little bit, and that's video. Creating video. Hunter puts out a lot of content around video, and they do that for a reason, because they know that that is another great way to get in front of eyeballs. Now, the other thing here, and most people probably know this nowadays, but the number 2 search engine is YouTube, which happens to be owned by the number 1 search engine, Google, right? So putting video out just on YouTube alone is going to increase the opportunity of you getting in front of more people. As you know, when you go to Google and search for something, a lot of times they insert video results in that as well. So you could end up with multiple results on one search page for your business. So video is huge, not to be overlooked. Obviously, some people don't like being on camera, don't like doing that, but there are plenty of ways nowadays to create video, and there are AI generating programs out there that can help you create some great looking video. It still gets the point across and doesn't require you to be the face on the screen. And then the last one really is audio. So consider this podcast is probably the biggest piece of this. So creating podcasts that are specific about your world, your industry, what it is you do, and that kind of stuff. Here's an example of a podcast called So Much More that is all around sewing, which is obviously a big piece of our industry in general. So having these kinds of pieces of content are great because it shows your expertise. It shows what you know. You can have guests on and talk about different things. Lots of different ways you could go about this, but audio is a great way, or a type of content that you can create. So as I mentioned, a couple different types that are really winning right now. Short form videos are huge. These are great for getting in front of people and creating things that are quick and punchy and help them with something, or just entertain at the end of the day, could be too. Enhanced blogs with real-time updates. So blogs that are not static and never change, but things that can be updated often. Like I said, FAQs, what other people are searching for, those types of things, polls, quizzes, all that kind of stuff could be in there as well. And then, like I said, interactive social media polls, quizzes, live videos. So doing Facebook Live, for instance, right? That could be another way to do it. So lots of different ways when it comes to type. Well, not lots, 4. Okay, 4. So number 3, find somebody to write the content or create the content, whatever it happens to be. Writer might not be the right word here with the way that we are building content on other platforms as well, but find somebody to actually kind of assemble this and put it all together, right? Now, the easiest answer here is you, right? You're the owner. You're the one running the show here. You're probably the one with the most expertise when it comes to what you do and how you do it, right? That is the obvious answer. However, sometimes maybe you're busy running a business, right? That's a very possible thing too. So in that case, we need to figure out, well, how can I get somebody else to do this for me? Typically, there are 2 forms of currency or way that you can get this done. First one is obviously trade, right? If you're able to put this up, I'll give you some more eyeballs on your content. I don't know, something like that. We'll talk a little bit about this. So the other one, obviously, pay them, right? That one's pretty straightforward, I think. So one thing you can do to start finding somebody to help you is look at complementary websites. So websites that are in the industry but are not competitors. And here's an example of a site called House Beautiful. This is an article, 34 window treatment ideas that'll improve your view, by Caroline Picard and Lauren Smith. So Caroline Picard and Lauren Smith must know a little bit about window treatments. It's very possible that is a good place to start, right? Maybe you can reach out to them and ask them if they'd be interested in writing something for you, right? So finding those complementary type websites. Along those same lines, you could just type in industry blogger. So window treatment blogger, awning blogger. You'd be surprised. There are people out there that specifically do this. And you'll get a list of different websites of people that are posting things about that industry, and reach out to them, right? This is a great way to go about doing this. So reaching out to industry bloggers, another fantastic way to find people. Now, at the end of the day, if you hire somebody else, you're still probably going to have to edit to make your own. So if you have the time, it's better really just to do it yourself. But when it comes to paying somebody else, there are sites like Upwork, for instance, where you can find different people that are looking for remote type work. You can put in there what type of work that is and get a good idea of what people are willing to do work for, right? You can obviously look at the other jobs that are out there and see what people are offering to pay, so that you have a good idea of what it is that you're probably going to have to pay as well. So that'll help you find somebody. The last piece of the of this all really is to build the foundation, right? So build out the plan foundation, have a consistent content calendar. So this is the 4th piece of the of the formula on X date, right? So having a calendar is a great way to go about doing this. And the most important word here is consistent. So what we're ultimately wanting to do is teach Google that we put out a piece of content every other Monday, right? Or the second Tuesday of every month, or whatever your schedule is. Teach them that this is always the way that we do it is a great way to go about this. Google's going to get to the point where they understand how your content comes out, and it can be indexed a lot quicker because they know, right? One great way to do that is obviously with having a content calendar where on this date I'm going to publish an article about motorization. 2 weeks later, I'm going to put one out about shade over the deck, something like that, right? So every 2 weeks or every once a month, whatever it happens to be, you have some sort of calendar related to this. It helps just kind of keep you accountable, I think. So let's talk about AI and content creation on that side. Now, there are a lot of these different services. ChatGPT, probably one of the best well-known ones. And I use it quite often. I love having ChatGPT where I can ask it questions and help refine emails, things of that sort. There's also Jasper. Jasper is a great way to build content. It's built in a way that it understands SEO. So the content that it creates is a little more SEO biased, I guess. It understands those types of things and puts out great content, as does Surfer SEO. So these are some great platforms where you can start to input, here's what I'm trying to do, and get some decent content out of it. Now, the trick obviously here is you shouldn't just use AI to generate hundreds of pieces of content in short order. Google will know exactly what that is. So it's important that you make sure that you personalize this, right? And start to either teach ChatGPT or one of these platforms about your business and about your culture and about yourself and the tone that you use, those kinds of things. Or what's even better is have it create something and then go through and edit it. Make it your own. I think that's the big piece here, really making it something that is 100% your own and human edited is the important piece here. Now, don't forget about distributing this content. Get it out on different places. There's Buffer. There's all kinds of places where you can put the content out to the world. So you don't just want to post a blog on your website and be done with it, right? Get it out on all your social media networks. Get it out in all the different places where people could potentially find it. Share it on your Facebook groups that are related to that. Those kinds of things are great. So we can't just create the content. We got to do something with it, right? Of course. So I wanted to talk about coming up with different ideas. So a lot of times we'll come across people that reach out to us and they say, yeah, I did a blog for 6 months and then I couldn't think of what to really post about. Nobody really cared that I was having peanut butter and jelly for lunch. And I just couldn't think of what would be fun or what would be interesting to someone. So coming up with some ideas is a big one. So some ways that you could do some of this stuff include product reviews, right? Every time you get a new product in, do a video review of it. Here's what it does. Here's how it works. A great example of this that I saw was the top down, bottom up shades. Those are super cool, but people don't know that they exist in a lot of cases. So having a video reviewing the product, here's what it does, that kind of stuff, super cool. How-tos, which is very similar to that, how-tos and guides of how to create a blackout room or a what is that called? What is the media room, right? Where you can watch videos and stuff, how to create a dark room when you don't have a basement or something. I don't know. Something like that might be really good. Podcasts, as I mentioned, our podcast is called Marketing Pains. And we do podcasts every 2 weeks, and just creating that content about the industry, about things related to what you're already doing is a great way to go about creating new content. And then, of course, memes, creating different memes. I like this one with the horse. That's pretty funny. But different ways to get content that is mostly just shareable, good for entertainment, good for a good laugh in a lot of cases. But you get eyeballs at the end of the day, and maybe you get your brand noticed a little bit out of that. A couple others include before and afters. I mentioned this early on, and this is probably one of the best, is to create before and afters of an install that you do. People love it, and people don't expect these Hunter Douglas type pictures that are just gorgeous, right? They expect, here's the real world of somebody's home before and after and what it looks like. And in my opinion, they get a lot better idea of what you can do, what your capabilities are, that kind of stuff. So definitely before and afters are fantastic. In some cases, you do have to train your installers to take pictures, but that can be overcome pretty easily. Polls and surveys are great to get ideas of how people are, or what people think, right? Maybe a poll is, do you know what a top-down, bottom-up shutter is or shade is? Yes, no, I've heard of it, right? That could be a great way to run a poll to figure out what kind of content to create for people. Excellent way to go about that. Obviously, personal stories, infographic is what we saw earlier with the different types of window treatments. It was a image, but it also had some sort of information with it. Case studies are great. So here's a great example of how we helped Mrs. Smith in Tampa, Florida with her lanai, right? Show a little bit about it, that kind of stuff. You can also just listen to your customers, right? If you realize when people call, a lot of times they're asking the same questions, or when you're at a design appointment, a lot of times they ask the same things, right? That is a cue for you to create content around that thing. Because if somebody's asking in the homes that you're able to get into, hundreds, if not thousands of other people are asking the same thing, but you're not in their home, right? So having that content on your website could be something people are searching for. And if you're the one to solve that for them or answer that question, pretty easy way to come about building new content. Same is true for social media. You can listen, just watch these different Facebook groups, get on sites like Nextdoor, Thumbtack, where people are posting things related to the neighborhood that are going on. And maybe there's some things there that where you can help them with some sort of solution. Do searches on Twitter for questions related to window treatments. There's probably all kinds of them out there. You could also use a website like answerthepublic.com. Answer the Public is a great place to put in a topic, and then it will actually show you what people are asking related to that topic. So another fantastic way to go about finding content. Now, another thing you can do is set up Google Alerts, google.com/alerts. You can set up alerts for specific key phrases and say, hey, every time somebody mentions window treatments in Cincinnati, send me a copy of that post that they put out. I want to see what that is, right? So you can set up Google Alerts for different key phrases and things like that, or just different websites. Every time one of my competitors posts something new on their website, send me the link to it so that I can write something that's a lot better, right? That's a fantastic way to go about it. But creating these alerts can help you with different topic ideas as well. There's a lot of options there. And I use that one pretty often. You can also recycle old content. So taking content that maybe when you put it up, it started to rank really well, but as time went on, it really started losing a lot of its luster, or a competitor posted something better. Google liked it better. So now that traffic's going over there, right? So look at some of your older content that maybe was on a trajectory upwards and for some reason started to trail off. Make that content better. We call it 10xing the content. just making it a lot better. So you don't want to change the URL. You don't want to delete stuff. You just want to improve what's already there. This very much leads to a sudden uptick in traffic to those particular pieces of content. Google loves that. And one of the things that they are looking for is what they call freshness. So the freshness of the content in the first place, very important. Another great place to get content ideas, Reddit. If you're not on Reddit, you need to get on Reddit as soon as possible. Google is currently in love with Reddit. There is so much content out there about any topic you can think of that there are thousands and probably millions of people talking about all these different things, right? So there's a bunch of different window treatment, awning related subreddits that you can join. You can watch and see what people are asking, and then use that information to go create content for yourself. Absolutely great way to get new content. Now, don't forget about writing some awesome headlines. The headline is the thing that is going to get the person to continue reading the article, right? And really, a headline is basically like a promise for your business. It is a promise that what is in here, I'm going to explain below, right? So very important that you always have a good headline and something that engages people. I'm gonna go back because I really like this one. Homeless man under house arrest. Great headline. I love that. 3 different ways to really kind of create headlines. The first one is social proof. The second is threat and gain. So let's talk about these. So social proof is, well, let's just look at the example. Why I use olive oil and you should too, right? It tells me that, oh, other people are succeeding with this particular thing. I should probably pay attention to that, right? That's a perfect example of social proof or piggybacking on something that someone else does, such as what Dr. Oz eats for a midnight snack, right? 7 things that you should have seen at IWCE this year. Something like that might be a good one. There's a lot of these different things that you can do when it comes to social proof. Now, when it comes to threats, these are things that are a little bit more like a challenge, right? One of the best emails I ever wrote, and it's been quite a while now, had the subject line of "Sorry, I lied to you." And the open rate on that was just phenomenal. And it was all about something that I had posted that was incorrect, and I was correcting myself, making sure that the audience knew the true answer to what I don't remember what it was. But that is a little bit of a threat. Like, oh, I better pay attention to what this is, right? Is your child's mattress harmful to their health? Are corded blinds really something that you should be paying attention to? Yes, right. But those types of headlines get people's attention and move them down the article a little bit further. And then the third type is gain. So what am I going to gain by reading through this piece of content or even watching this video, right? The title of your video could mention some sort of gain related thing that you want them to continue to watch. Create a gorgeous holiday feast on $30, those kinds of things. You're going to gain something at the end of this particular piece of content. So let's talk a little bit about social media as well. Now, there are a lot of different tools out there that you can use. I'm not going to go through, you should be posting on Facebook and you should be posting on Instagram, right? A lot of those things, couple cool tools. Sniply is a really cool tool that lets you promote your content on different websites. That is sniply.com. I think here's some pricing from $9 a month. In order to get this done, I would definitely recommend you check that out. Buffer is another good one here. Sorry, right there. Buffer lets you, it connects to your website and pulls in all your blogs, all your articles, can shuffle them up, and then you tell it, I want to post one every day at 10 a.m. on Facebook, at 11 a.m. on LinkedIn, at 2 p.m. on Twitter. You can do that kind of really cool stuff with Buffer. That's a great platform. You can see they do a lot of stuff on a lot of different platforms. You can connect to all these and just tell it, here's what I want you to put out there, shuffle up my content and put it out there. So there's always content going out online. You can schedule this. As I mentioned, there's a shuffle button, that kind of stuff. And then of course, having this content have some sort of call to action on it. So we're not really talking about web design today, but one thing that you want to do, obviously, for all this content you're creating needs to have some sort of call to action at the end of it. In this case, this company was looking for more people to sign up for their membership, right? In most of our clients' examples, it is set an appointment, right? That is the big thing. So make sure you have some sort of a call to action at the end of the day. So let's talk a little bit about kind of the framework and repurposing content effectively is really the first thing. Turn a blog post into a LinkedIn article, turn it into a Twitter thread, Instagram carousel, right? There's a lot of things you can do with some of these things to repurpose it, put it other places, create longer form content that you can then cut up into smaller pieces. For example, this workshop, right? We're going to slice and dice this up into a lot of little video shorts that we can use and repurpose in a lot of different places. So definitely do that. The big thing here is consider it like a wagon wheel. So you have a hub and a spoke. So hub is the pillar piece of content. And then all of these smaller pieces are broken off and posted on all these different channels. That is a great way to go about really promoting your content and getting the most out of the content for sure. Now, when it comes to posting frequency, this is a question I get a lot. Like, gosh, how often should I be putting content out there? How often should we be, adding videos to our YouTube channel, all those kinds of things. So these are some different things that you can do that I think would help you. So, I skipped that out. So the big thing here is really around being consistent. That's the first piece. Make sure that whatever schedule you come up with, that you stay pretty consistent with that schedule. Make sure that if somebody does engage with content, that you are also engaging with them. If they leave a comment too, or ask them a question, that kind of stuff. Facebook, for instance, really loves that engagement. On YouTube, obviously, content that is getting more likes will help you create more of that kind of content because obviously people liked it. Don't forget about things like boosting posts on Facebook. If you get something that you posted out there that really got some decent traction and engagement, why not boost it to more people, right? You could do that for, $10 and really bump up that engagement, get more eyeballs on your brand. Obviously, look at your analytics and see what times of day, what times of week, what days of the week are people most engaging with our stuff, and then adjust to that. There are some AI tools that can help you with a lot of that stuff. Our Lead Boomerang platform can give you all the analytics of each post, each newsletter, everything that you did, and what was the best times of day, when you got the most engagement, for instance. But there are a lot of those different kinds of tools out there. So, all right. So let's review what we talked about today, and then I want to get to some questions and make sure that I got everybody. Make sure everybody understands and any questions that we need to answer. So, all right. So define your categories, I think, is the big one. Make sure that you're writing about the right things. Typically, those are product related things, services, that kind of stuff. A lot of times you can find your categories or what categories you should be writing about simply by going to your website and looking at the navigation across the top. What are the big things there that are sticking out in the first place? That's a great place to find your categories. Pick which content type you want to create. There's really only 4 big ones out there. Find somebody to do the work. Obviously, you're the best answer there. Start to build that foundation. Get the schedule in order for you. and then start to come up with topic ideas. Once you kind of have a schedule, a plan of what you're going to do, let's start coming up with some really good topic ideas inside of there. Don't forget about AI. I think AI is an important piece, that it shouldn't be the answer to everything you're doing, but it should be a part of the recipe for sure. Write some awesome headlines, get that promise out there that you're going to deliver in the rest of the article. Don't forget about social. Get the word out, get in front of more people as time goes on, and have some sort of tool that can kind of repurpose that as time goes on as well. So, all right. So now what? So a couple different things that I want to get for you. First of all, our next workshop, the new SEO formula for window treatment and awning companies. Here's the QR code for that if you want to go sign up for that now, so that we can alert you when that is. It is not on Wednesday, March 19th, because I'm not doing that today. So it's going to be next month in April. But that is the QR code to get signed up for that. And it'll have the date on there, the right date as well. But I do these workshops every single month, and want to make sure that you have all the information you need to succeed out there. You can also visit our website, wtmarketingpros.com, and under the Learn area, you can see all our workshops that we've done and go back and review those as well. So, all right, I want to get you some free stuff. I'm looking around for my books. So I've got 2 books. This is one that I published about 3 years ago now. Triple Your Window Treatment and Awning Leads. Definitely want to get that into your hands. And then one that I just published late last year called 10 Quick Wins. I'll send these both to you absolutely free. You can go to wtmarketingpros.com/book. Give me your mailing address and I'll get those in the mail to you. Obviously, there's a QR code that'll take you to that same place. It's just a form. What is your name? What is your address? And I'll get it to you. So make sure to grab that if you haven't already got a copy of my books. I would love to get those in your hands. That's great. And then don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're spending a lot of time generating content on the video side of things. I think we're coming up on 1,000 videos pretty soon. So we've been at this for a while, but definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can just go to YouTube and type in WT Marketing Pros or Window Treatment Marketing Pros. You'll find us on there pretty easy. Make sure to subscribe to that. That'll always alert you of the newest stuff that we have coming out. So, all right, so let's get into some questions here. I want to see what kind of questions we have. Where's the chat as well, so I can make sure that we have all these. So, all right, let me change the screen here so I can see. So if there's only one platform we should put our focus into, what do you suggest it would be and why? So great question. I think the tough thing here is really going to be, what is the end result that you want? So if the end result is you just want brand exposure, then you should probably go to social media, post on Facebook, those types of platforms, and just get more likes. Now, for most people, likes don't pay the bills. So you might want to create content around your own website, quite honestly, that would improve your SEO. So if you need more leads and you want more appointments, in that case, I would probably post first on my website and then share that to all the social media channels after the case, but build content that builds your website bigger and bigger as time goes on. So hopefully that helps you. I think ultimately your website is the hub of everything you do, and it should be where you focus the most, and everything, kind of like the hub and spoke, everything should go out from there. So, all right, let's see if there's any other questions. Are you recommending being active on Instagram and TikTok for window treatment industry? Yes, absolutely. Definitely be on those platforms. I think, again, just realize that they're not 100% built for ROI, right? People don't say, gosh, I need some new window treatments, I'm going to go look on TikTok, right? That typically doesn't happen. They might get ideas. They might have some research involved on those platforms. So especially Instagram, people, again, love to see the pictures of what their home could look like. So absolutely, if those are platforms that you really like, there are window treatment and awning companies in the US that are using these platforms to drive leads, and a successful amount of leads on that. So, not saying it's not something you should do, but yeah, it is definitely an area that you could focus on as part of an overall strategy. I think that'd be a good answer. So, all right, let's see. Any other questions here? How can businesses balance AI generated content with human creativity to maintain authenticity? So, if you've heard of the Pareto principle, 80%, the 80-20 rule, use AI to get you 80% of the way there, right? And then use a human, yourself, to create that authenticity or edit that content and make it yours. I think it's a great way to start building a foundation for something that you're doing. And even, ChatGPT is great at giving you bullet points to make a video. And here are things that you could talk about. So using these tools to your advantage to get you moved in the right way, where you still need to finish the work at the end of the day, I think is great. It will maintain authenticity, make it your own. If you're just using AI to generate content and hitting publish with whatever it spits out, I think that's going to work against you big time. So definitely make sure that you're touching, or some human is touching, every piece of content that you create, no matter which type of content it is. All right, anything else? One more, let's see. What are some AI tools that you use for video creation? That's a darn good question. I have somebody on my team that does all the video stuff. Canva Pro can do some video stuff now. It is great for that. AI has some great video where you can make short snippets now. Midjourney is a great example of that. It makes more like pictures versus video. But you can use those kinds of things. The platform that we use to do this particular workshop is called Riverside. We do stuff on that, or Restream is another one. So these platforms are great for creating content. A lot of people have Google Meet or Zoom. You can just pull that up and start talking. I do that a lot of times as well. There are some tools like CapCut is a good one for creating these short videos that are punchy. What are some other? There's another one. Descript is another really good tool. That one lets you disassemble a video and put it back together in different ways. That one's pretty cool. HeyGen, Gen, HeyGen is a really cool one that lets you create kind of an avatar of yourself and then create content from that by just uploading text. And it will actually make you say those things without you ever saying those. So there's a lot of different tools out there around this that you can use. You could always just go to Google and type something like that in, and you'll probably get an endless supply of those as well. So, all right. So thank you guys for the questions. I really do appreciate that. One last thing here. If you're not on our radar on some of these channels, I would love to have you on there. Here's our Facebook. You can just type in Window Treatment Marketing Pros. Same for LinkedIn. We're on YouTube, as I mentioned earlier, putting a lot of video out there. If you want to reach out to me, there's the phone number, 314-470-1180. You can email help@WT Marketing Pros if you have a question, want to talk more about how we can help you get in front of more eyeballs through SEO and paid ads, those types of things. Would love to have that conversation as well. So listen, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the April workshop, if not sooner. Take care, everybody.